Alliance Calendar 3021, August 30th, night. The bright moon hung high, and the silver brilliance poured down and shone into a large room in the Xia's villa. Mu Fifan lay on the bed and suddenly opened his eyes. What happened? This is where? For a second, he was still immersed in the pain of getting 300 points in the college entrance examination. Will I just be a salted fish in the future and go back to inherit my dad's dozens of houses and 100 billion listed companies? This is definitely not the life that Mu Fiwa wants. He wants to be admitted to a university and uses his strength to prove himself. He doesn't want to be a rich second generation who is waiting to die. In the next second, a flash of lightning suddenly fell in the sky of the sky. With a boom, Mu Fifan lost consciousness. Woke up again and appeared in this room. Mu Fei's mind suddenly flooded with a lot of memories. It's just that there are too many memories for him to absorb for a moment. Parallel time and space. I actually traveled through it. Mu Fiwa was shocked. The memory in his mind tells himself that the body in front of him has the same name and surname, and even his appearance and height are exactly the same. The only difference is that he is very poor in this life. At this moment, Mu Fifan's head was swelling and painful, and he slowly got out of bed. But then, he saw that there was a pair of pink slippers beside the bed. This is where? Mu Fifan raised his head, and his pupils suddenly shrank. At a glance, this room is full of pink decorations, which is a girl's boudoir. Even the air is full of fresh fragrance. Mu Fifan rubbed her head, trying to clear herself up. With a bang, the door was pushed open, and steaming water poured in. In the dimness, a tall and thin silhouette appeared. Mu Fiwa couldn't help but his eyes widened. Walking in is a girl wrapped in a bathrobe. Boudoir, young girl, just finished taking a shower. These eye-catching words connected together, let Mu Fiwa think of a possibility. In this life, I won't be nurtured anymore, am I? Looking through the mirror on the dressing table, Mu Fiwa found that his appearance was as handsome as before. In other words, I have the potential to do that kind of profession. Damn it! I'm a great man, how can I fall here? Mu Fiwa thought with grief and indignation, if the other party is an ugly monster, wouldn't he be a loss? Did you fall asleep just now? The girl's voice came, very nice, but with a hint of coldness. Mu Fiwa then put his gaze on the girl's face. The next moment, like being struck by lightning. The girl's long dark chestnut hair is draped over her shoulders at will, all strands shining with a moving luster. Even wrapped in a large bathrobe, it can't hide the perfect curve. Her appearance is even more breathtakingly beautiful. Especially the eyes of the other person, glamorous but high-cold, with a sense of indifference to everything in the world. Queen. Mu Fifan swallowed unconvincingly, and his little heart pounded. This wave does not seem to be a loss. According to Mu Fondian's memory, the girl in front of her was called Xia Yuchen, a proper Baifume, a goddess. The rest, he hasn't thought of it yet. Xia Yuchan came over, opened the bedside table, took out a small porcelain bottle, and said, "Here are 10 Zhuangqi pills, here you are." What is that? Zhuangqi pill? Mu Fifan's eyes widened. He suddenly thought of something, and his expression changed. Is that kind of medicine? Do current rich women like this tune? It seems that the guarded identity has no time to run away. But the next moment, Mu Fifan raised his head confidently and said, "I don't want it." Xia Yuchan suddenly changed her eyes, staring straight at Mu Fiwa. Chuckled, Mu Fifei seemed to hear his heartbeat. Did she see the flaw? Is there a difference between my performance and my previous performance? Mu Fiwa suddenly thought of the evil taste of some rich women in the rumors. She wouldn't impose it on herself, would she? Thinking of this, Mu Fiwa couldn't help but shiver. At this time, Xia Yuchen sighed softly, "You are still like that, but for you now, Zhuangqi pills are really important." Mu Fiwa looked dazed, but still refused, "I am very powerful, I don't need it. Xia Yuchen's cold eyes suddenly revealed a trace of anxiety. We are already in the third year of high school. If you fail to reach the base building period, you will not be able to enter the same university as me. But now, you are not even the Kairfaning period. Admiring the extraordinary second time stunned, what kind of foundation, refining? Why does it sound like cultivating immortals? In his previous life, he had read a lot of online novels, and he knew that this was the level of immortality. My God, what world have I traveled into? Seeing Mu Fifan's stunned look, Xia Yuchen's tone softened and said, this bottle of Zhuangqi pills should be borrowed from you, and you will return it later. With it, you can break through the martial artist earlier and become the qi refining period. Mu Fifan looked at the quaint porcelain vase, and sighed in his heart. As expected, he was thinking too much. Well, I want it, he said. Suddenly, a paragraph flashed in Mu Fiwa's mind. 100 times reward system started. Got 10 Zhuangqi pills. System rewards, 1000 Zhuangqi pills. 2, 10 Zhuqi pills. It turned out to be a system. Mu Fiwa was overjoyed. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Sure enough, as a member of the Crossover Alliance, the system may be late, but it will never be absent. He tried to communicate with the system, but found that there was no response at all, so he could only choose the reward himself. Let's sleep. Suddenly, Xia Yuchen's voice echoed in his ears. Mu Fiwa then remembered that there was a charming girl beside him. As for the system or something, I will study it after tonight. Xia Yuchan slowly opened the bathrobe. Mu's extraordinary breathing suddenly became hurried. But the next moment, he was stunned. It turned out that Xia Yuchen was in the bathrobe and had already put on his pajamas. My God, what operation! And this pajama wraps the other party tightly, and the style is too conservative. Xia Yuchan quickly lay on the other side, with his back facing Mu Fiwa, curled up, as if he was afraid of what the other party would do. I am so angry about Fiwa, do I look like a bad person? Have you ever seen such a handsome bad guy? At this time, as the memory absorbed, he just remembered. It turns out that Xia Yuchen's physique is very strange, and it takes a destined person to sleep with it to suppress this strange disease. Otherwise she will suffer the pain of the ice attack. Mu Fifan is the destined person of Xia Yuchen. He was found by the Xia family when he was very young, and would have the same bed with Xia Yuchen at the end of the month. This is the reason why Mu Fifai and Xia Yuchen have intersection. Thinking of this, Mu Fifan was also relieved. It turned out that everything was a misunderstanding. He slowly lay beside Xia Yuchen. At this time, Xia Yuchen suddenly turned around and said, you are now in your third year of high school, and you can enter the Temple of 10,000 Realms once a week. Let's go together tomorrow. Temple of 10,000 Worlds? With the absorption of memory, Mu Fifei finally knew the difference in this world. This is a new era of global cultivating immortality, the world is turbulent, and spiritual energy is resurrected. Every resident must go to school and receive formal training after birth. What I learn is not about science and culture, but how to practice immortality in thousands of worlds. Once you reach the third year of high school, you will get the qualification to use the Temple of 10,000 Worlds, and you can enter other worlds to find opportunities. The cultivation resources in this world are very rare, and only the senior leaders of the Alliance can enjoy them. Most people still look for resources in other worlds. Thinking of this, Mu Fifan sighed. I am a member of the toiling public, and the Xia family is obviously not low in the league. But now, I have a 100-fold reward system, and my future achievements will not be weaker than anyone else. I have traveled to this world, it seems that there is a will in the sky. I must become the foundation building period before the end of the third year of high school, and realize my dream of going to college. The next day, after Mu Fiwa wakes up, he finds that Xia Yusakata is long gone. He glanced at the bedside table, and the small porcelain bottle was still quietly placed on it. Mu Fiwa's mind still flashed the words of the system making a choice. He did not rush to make a choice, but put the small porcelain bottle in his storage bag. This storage bag is a high-end immortal cultivation item produced by the Alliance. It only has 2 cubic meters in it, but it is expensive. Was also given to him by Xia Yuchen. Mu Fiwa accepted frankly. Anyway, he took a bottle of Zhuangqi pills. Is it still a storage bag? But this time the system did not prompt rewards. It seems that its function needs to be explored by yourself. Mu Fiwa finished washing, and came to the first floor of Xia's villa. At this time, Xia Yuchen was having a meal. He picked up a fried dough stick in his hand and sipped the soy milk lightly. Mu Fiwa couldn't help but appreciate it secretly. The beauties are so elegant even when they eat. Is there anything strange on my face? I know, Xia Yuchen said abruptly. Mu Fiwa was embarrassed for a while. He smiled. How did you explain this to others? Isn't it just a peek? At this time, Xia Yuchen said again, before, you rarely smiled at me. Mu's extraordinary smile instantly froze on his face. When he found that the other party was saying these things, his face was also expressionless. Dare to love these two people, neither loves to laugh, but has an iceberg face. If it were not for their weird physique, they would probably never know each other for a lifetime. The two of them finished their breakfast, and the butler drove them to the Temple of 10,000 Realms. Along the way, Mu Fifan looked out the window curiously. Although it is a global cultivation of immortals, there is no picture of the demons walking everywhere and monks flying in the sky in Mu Fei's imagination. Everyone still abides by the rules of the Alliance. The superficial life is no different from the previous life. The only change is that the Alliance has established a huge temple of 10,000 realms in every big city, which can connect countless other worlds. For ordinary people, there is the starting point of dreams. The Temple of 10,000 Worlds is really a landmark of the city. Before arriving, Mu Fiwa saw a huge towering palace from a distance, thrusting straight into the sky, magnificent. Came to the temple, making human beings feel even more insignificant. Lots of people. Mu Fifan sighed as he looked at the crowd coming and going. Xiaoxian has become a daily activity for the majority of residents. However, members of the public need to pay an entrance fee to enter the Temple of 10,000 Realms. Only high school students and college students who have reached the base building period can use it for free. Going to university, if you have not reached the foundation building period, you still need to pay to enter the temple. It seems the same as the previous life, money is the eternal passport to every world. In the last life, Mu Fiwa didn't worry about money. Although he is poor in this life, he doesn't want to hold someone else's thigh. It's a sense of accomplishment that I win by myself. Don't look around, follow me. Xia Yuchen said coldly. She pulled Mu Fifan into the Temple of 10,000 Realms. A young lady who looked like a staff member said, I came to the Temple of 10,000 Realms for the first time. Come here to pick up the Alliance's practice watch. Mu Fifan walked over and was scanned by a red light. The young lady worked on the computer for a while, and soon took out a watch and gave it to Mu Fiwa. This watch is your exclusive item, it records all your spiritual information, please keep it safe. A high school student? It's the first time to enter a different world. Do you want to buy some things and be close to you? My sister has everything here. The young lady said with a grin. On her computer screen, a dazzling array of products were displayed. Mu Fifan glanced, only to glance at the price, and then took a breath of air conditioning. Zhuangqi pills, 1,000 yuan. Zhuqi pill, 100,000 yuan. Good deed, through the 100-fold increase of the system, wouldn't he now have millions in his storage bag? In addition to the medicine and equipment, there are time extension cards and instant return cards. Because each other world is in a different dimension, the flow of time is also different. No matter which world you are in, no matter how long you stay, after returning to this world, the time just happened to be only half an hour past. The longer you stay in another world, the more chances you will get, so the time extension card is a hot product. Its price is not cheap, it fully reflects the principle that time is money. As for the instant return card, as the name suggests, it allows you in another world to bring all the gains back in an instant. Otherwise, you can only return until the end of the stay. There was a trace of heat in Mu Fifan's eyes. What he found at this time, he asked in amazement, what is this skin experience card? MS. Explained with a smile, this can change your appearance in another world. Mu Fiwa suddenly understood. Everyone looks earth-shattering in reality. Wouldn't it be so stinky to go to another world? Aren't there a lot of Joe Below in the previous life? However, I don't think you need it. The young lady stared at Mu Fiwa, her eyes filled with brilliance. Mu Fifan is so uncomfortable being seen. Do you have something you want? I'll buy it for you. Aside, Xia Yuchen spoke lightly. I want to sweat profusely, is this really going to take care of my own rhythm? No need. Mu Fifan hurriedly refused. Why don't you leave now? Xia Yuchen let out a cold snort. Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com seems to be unable to understand that he and his little sister have been chatting. Mu Fifan hurried away under the eyes of the young lady. The two came to the teleportation formation. Xia Yu-chan said, it's the first time you go to another world, do you want to team up with me? Mu Fifan shook his head, I want to explore it by myself. Xia Yu-chan stopped talking, just stretched out her white wrist and swept it with the watch she was wearing. The next moment, the teleportation array burst out, covering Xia Yuchen's body. Mu Fifan followed the example of the other party, and followed the teleportation away. Next, he found himself in a strange room with a sense of technology. In front of his eyes is a huge light curtain, on which countless small interfaces are divided. Different scenes can be vaguely seen in each small interface, just like a big world. Mu Fiwa has the illusion of being in a large monitoring room. Do these small interfaces represent the different worlds that the Temple of 10,000 Realms can teleport to? He is very curious. Welcome to your private room, I am your shrine exclusive customer service Kun Kun, are you ready to start your journey to another world? A mechanical voice sounded in the room. Mu Fifan said, ready. At this time, his watch released a beam of light, forming a holographic projection attribute panel in the air. Name, Mu Fifan. Age, 18 years old. Status, senior high school student. Level, warrior. Kunkun's voice rang again. If you are a warrior, the other worlds you go to are all safe areas, but there are also dangers. Although chances are precious, safety comes first. Next, the world is randomly selecting. Next, Mu Fifan's eyes went dark, and there was a feeling of dizziness, as if he had gone through a long shuttle. When he raised his head again, he found that he was no longer in the room. There is a solid ground at his feet, and a dense jungle around him, and there are tigers roaring in his ears. Is this a different world? Mu Fiwa took a deep breath, feeling the aura that came in time, and his expression was a bit agitated. Although there were constant roars of beasts in the distance, he was not afraid. Because this is the first time he has entered, he hasn't got any chance yet. Even if I die here, there is no loss. At this moment, Mu Fifan suddenly smelled a damp vapor and ran over. Sure enough, there is a small lake not far away. Mu Fifan took a photo, and found that the appearance of this body was actually similar to the main body. What is surprising is that he is wearing coarse linen and straw sandals on his feet, and even his hair grows a lot, which looks very elegant. Does even the appearance automatically become an ancient person, but not as handsome as I am? Mu Fifan smiled faintly. Come to another world, it is not the main body descending. So now this body is a virtual body constructed by the Temple of 10,000 Realms. I heard that every time I enter another world, I can only stay for up to 7 days. Unless you have a time extension card. When the time is up, this body will automatically return, and the gains gained and the cultivation base here will also be returned to the body immediately. However, once you die in another world, you will lose all your belongings, and even this body will be destroyed. The imprint of the body in this world will disappear, and even if it comes next time, it will become another person. Mu Fiwa recalled the knowledge in school, and made up his mind in his heart. Suddenly, his projection on the water changed. A pair of huge evil eyes appeared in the water, and looked at each other from the air. Mu Fiwa? The next moment, a large splash of water splashed on the water, and a huge black figure jumped out. Mu Fiwa was surprised. As soon as he teleported to another world, he was in danger. He has been trained in school since he was a child, and he has developed his true energy long ago and has stepped into the ranks of warriors. Although it is far less powerful than the monks in the Qi training period, they also have a certain degree of skill. At this moment, Mu Fifei had already seen clearly that the crocodile who came from this surprise attack was a crocodile with a body length of more than 4 meters. Next, Mu Fiwa gathered strength, with determination in his eyes, and made an amazing move. I saw that he turned around without hesitation, stepped on his feet, and escaped. I don't know how many times I have practiced this set of actions, and it is stunned. Come here. Before leaving, Mu Fifei didn't forget to throw out a provocative sentence. Regardless of whether the crocodile can understand or not, the momentum is in place anyway. The crocodile pounced empty, very embarrassed. How can you let go of the prey that is finally obtained? Its limbs moved quickly, the wind was blowing under its feet, and it chased away wildly. Mu Fiwa ran fast, and there happened to be a 10-meter-high tree in front of him. He climbed to the top of the tree after 3 steps in 2 steps. At this moment, the crocodile has rushed to the tree, staring at Mu Fiwa fiercely. I can't climb up now. Mu Fifei was about to breathe a sigh of relief, but the next scene was shocking. I saw the crocodile sticking out its scales, clutching the trunk, and trying to climb up. Mu Fiwa was speechless. I have only heard of a sow climbing a tree. It is the first time I see a crocodile and climbing a tree. At this moment, the crocodile has climbed halfway, and the huge body has made the tree sway constantly. Seeing that the opponent's deep mouth is getting closer and closer to him, Mu Fifei aimed at the timing and flew out. The crocodile was attacked suddenly, an unstable one, and fell directly from the tree. The saddest thing is that I fell head down. With a boom, the crocodile landed and the earth made a loud noise. This time, the crocodile fell dizzy and stared at Venus. Mu Fifei was overjoyed when he saw the crocodile with all 4 feet upside down. He jumped decisively, relying on the power of falling from a high altitude, and trampled on the abdomen of the crocodile fiercely. Under this huge impact, the crocodile screamed, blood spilled from the corner of his mouth, and he continued to struggle. Mu Fifei faced its neck, slashed with a palm, and finally killed the crocodile. Fortunately, it's just an ordinary beast. If you encounter a monster, the warrior can't beat it. Mu Fiwa wiped the sweat on his forehead, and said with joy. But the crocodile is also a very powerful kind of beast. The scales and teeth on the body are powerful weapons. At this time, a sentence flashed in Mu Fifei's mind. Kill the crocodile and get a crocodile head. System rewards, 100 crocodile heads. 2. A crocodile axe. Get a set of crocodile skin. 100 sets of crocodile leather. 2. 1 crocodile shield. Mu Bianhua was overjoyed, but he didn't expect to kill the crocodile and get 2 kinds of resources. What's the point if I want 100 crocodile corpses? He chose the second item without hesitation. At this time, the crocodile's body changed. The strongest crocodile head is its sharp teeth and terrifying bite force. At this moment, it slowly transforms into a giant axe, lying horizontally on the ground. The sturdy crocodile leather, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com, has also become a heavy shield, which looks very metallic. Mu Fiwa picked up the giant axe and shield, and faced the big tree next to it as an axe. With a bang, the tree fell directly to the ground. Mu Fifan glanced at the fracture of the trunk, very smooth, and sighed, "What a sharp battle axe! I am afraid that the magic weapon of the monk during the Qi training period is not as sharp as this axe. Produced by the system, it must be a fine product." Suddenly, his brain was wide open. What would happen if he used an axe to smash the shield? Mu Fiwa is a very cautious person. Because this set of weapons is related to my survival for the next 7 days, I must know them well. He first scratched the shield lightly with an axe, and found that there were no scratches. Next, he was bold enough, raised his axe, and slashed hard. Boom! Sparks splashed on the shield, but there were no traces left. So strong defense! Mu Fiwa was overjoyed. In his opinion, in this variable world, defense is more reliable than attack. After all, he is just a little warrior. You have to be a little bit more so you can live longer. When he was climbing to the top of the tree just now, he found smoke rising in the distance. It seems that there is a small village nearby. Where there are villages, there are people. He wants to explore the environment of this world. If there is no threat of high evil force and the resources are good, it can be used as a long-term practice site. But if the environment is bad, it is better to abandon this body early and look for opportunities in a new different world. At this time, Mu Fiwa had an axe in one hand and a shield in the other, walking towards the village like a majestic old Arthur. Although this village is a bit far away, Mu Fifan, relying on the powerful physique of the martial artist, did not take long to arrive. The village is not big, so you can see it at a glance. There are stone houses built here, which look very simple. Sat an old man with a stall nearby, kind eyebrows and kind eyes, looking very simple. "Old man, may I ask where is this?" Mu Fifan asked politely. The old man said, "Young man, this is called Saiksha village." "Four Trees village? What kind of name?" Mu Fifan thought it was because of the language barrier, but he glanced at the 4 crooked neck trees at the entrance of the village, and it suddenly became clear. Every other world has its own unique language, but under the transformation of the Temple of 10,000 Realms, the language of this other world has been branded into this body. It's not a problem to communicate. The old man said again at this time, "Young man, I think you are a warrior in this outfit. I have a lot of medicine for sale here. Would you like to look at it?" Mu Fifan glanced at the dazzling array of medicine bottles, and under the introduction of the old man, he chose one small active medicine and one small antidote. Small collateral medicine is used to treat traumatic injuries, and small antidote is aimed at poisonous insects and weeds in the jungle. They are all essential medicines for survival in the wild. "I want one of each medicine." The old man was dumbfounded. The warriors are out all year round, and the standing pill is started with several bottles, so it is difficult for the old man to understand. Mu Fifan just smiled without explaining. He thought, "I have a 100-fold reward system. It looks like I bought one, but I actually got 100. The old man sighed. The young man doesn't seem to have a lot of money in his hands, so since you only need one of these 2 medicines, then I will give it to you." When I heard this, I was overjoyed. I didn't expect that there are many good people in another world. He took the 2 medicines and waited for a long time, but the system prompt did not appear. What happened? My 100 times reward failed? The script is not arranged like this, right? Suddenly, Mu Fiwa thought of a possibility. Could it be something that came for nothing, and would not be rewarded? With a slap, Mu Fifan held 2 pills in the old man's hand again. "Old man?" Mu Fifan said in a righteous manner, "Old man, we warriors walk in the rivers and lakes, and we can't be favored in vain. I'd better change it with you. The old man scratched his head, not understanding why Mu Fondian changed so quickly. Mu Fifan looked at the storage bag around his waist. This storage bag bears the mark of the Alliance, and under the influence of the Tower of 10,000 Realms, it has also been brought into another world. But the Alliance does not allow items from this world to flow into another world. It doesn't matter that the pill, like Zhuangqi pill, which is in the realm of immortality. I heard that someone took advantage of this loophole in the past, took a lot of instant noodles and cola, and exchanged a lot of spiritual resources with a certain other world. The consequence is to cause chaos in that different world order. The Alliance had to take action to suppress this world, and was arrested together with that person in the prison. It can be seen that the rules of the Alliance are strict. But after this incident spread, many people's first reaction was, that guy is really an individual. At this time, Mu Fiwa put his hand into the storage bag, seeming to be groping for a while, but actually making a choice. Found 10 Zhuangqi pills. System rewards, 1000 Zhuangqi pills. 2. 10 Juqi pills. Juqi pill is a pill that is used only during the Qi training period. If it is used by a martial artist, the meridians may not be able to withstand the surging aura and will burst. Mu Fiwa chose the first item. Suddenly, he felt that there were countless small porcelain bottles in his storage bag smashed down. It felt like a windfall. Although the results have been known for a long time, but with so many pills in front of him, Mu Fifei was still very excited. He took out a bottle and said, "Old man, there are 10 Zhuangqi pills here, how many can you change?" The old man said, "Zhuangqi pill is a cultivation pill, which is very expensive. The 2 medicines you just picked are just auxiliary pill. I can give you 1 bottle of each." The transaction went smoothly, and Mu Fiwa took it. 10 small active collateral medicines were found. System rewards, 1000 small collateral medicines. 2. 10 Chinese active collateral medicines. Found 10 small antidote. System rewards, 1000 small antidote. 2. 10 Chinese antidote. As expected. Only items bought with money or traded can be increased by 100-fold. The previous Zhuangqi pill was lent to him by Xia Yuchen, and he paid for it himself. Hey, it's impossible for a white prostitute, it's impossible in this life. Mu Fiwa sighed, putting 2 bottles of medicine into the storage bag. He chose the first item all. In Mu Fifei's opinion, the neighborhood is still very safe at the moment, and supplementary pill cannot be used for advanced. There was another rain of porcelain bottles in the storage bag. There are now 299 porcelain bottles, and the space of 2 cubic meters is immediately stretched. Mu Fifan made a decision immediately, and when he returned to the league, he would change to a large storage bag, and he could no longer use prostitutes for nothing. At this time, it was getting late. Mu Fifan asked, "Old man, is there any place to stay nearby? For example, a hotel or an inn?" The old man said, "Young man, I am a wandering businessman. I occasionally meet kind-hearted people. I pay a little money to make up for one night. I usually live in caves." Live in a cave? Savage? But Mu Fifan learned similar knowledge in school, and he was not hypocritical. He asked, "What if I meet a beast?" The old man smiled and took out a herb. "This is called Bodhi incense. You reading www.yunsha.com can mask its own smell so that the beasts can't find your whereabouts, and there are no beasts around here. Give it to you." Mu Fiwa took it, looked at the rolling mountain shadows outside the village, and immediately said goodbye to the old man. Through chatting, he knew that there were so few spiritual resources nearby, and it was a barren land. "But I still have to stay here for 7 days, so let's find a cave to absorb the Zhuangqi pills." So, Mu Fifan walked towards the mountain range. The sun sets in the west. The old man is still quietly setting up a stall, but the business is really bleak. At this time, several big men walked in from the entrance of the village, carrying a tiger's corpse. The old man smiled and said, "Dainyu, you have a good harvest today." The strong man headed by glanced at the tiger and sighed, "The number of beasts has been decreasing in recent years. In the past, when you went out, you could beat at least 2 beasts." At this time, he smiled and asked, "Uncle Wan, how is your business today?" The old man said, "I just met a young man who traded some items with me." "Young man? We are in a remote country, are there any warriors here?" Daniel was a little surprised. "Yes, he wants to find a place to stay, I introduced him to find a cave in the mountain." Boom! The tiger corpses in the hands of the strong men behind him fell directly to the ground, but he was frightened. Daniel's bull eyes were also round. The old man was startled, "What's wrong with you?" Daniel shouted, "Uncle Wan, do you know why we have fewer beasts here?" "I do not know." There was an indescribable fear in the big bull's eyes, and he tremblingly said, "Because there is a powerful monster living in the mountain ahead, other wild animals are scared away by it." At this moment, Mu Fifan has come to the foot of the mountain. Looking up close, this mountain is really towering and majestic. There are no wild animals inhabiting such a big mountain? It's a waste of land. Mu Fifan walked slowly in the mountain stream, where the people are off the beaten track, unlike the Alliance's mountain roads that were built, full of weeds and thorns. While hacking with an axe, he carefully explored the way with a shield. There is a swish of weeds being cut off in my ears. After a while, Mu Fifan's eyes lit up and saw a hole in front of him, hidden behind the wanton growing grass. He immediately rushed forward, chopped off in 3s and 2s, revealing a big hole 2 people high. The entrance of the cave is very deep and mysterious, and no one knows what is at the end of the darkness. Mu Fifan picked up a stone and threw it in with a swish. I haven't heard any echo for a long time. The space inside looks very deep. There should be no beasts. Didn't the old man say that the neighborhood is safe? Out of caution, Mu Fifan took out the Bodhi incense and walked into the cave to find out. If there are no beasts in it, it's best to use it as a place of cultivation for 7 days. He didn't want to be a beast when he was practicing. Mu Fiwa walked slowly, as a warrior, his eyesight was amazing, even if the light was dim, it would not affect his vision. Was just walking, and suddenly there was a burst of damp water vapor in the air. There is a dark river in the cave. Mu Fiwa passed through a long passage, the space suddenly opened up, and there was a magical space inside. The water vapor rushing towards the face shocked people's minds. With the moonlight from the dome, Mu Fiwa saw a long dark river flowing here. In the center of the river, there is a lonely high ground, on which something seems to be lying. Mu Fifan just glanced at it, and the hair on her hair stood up in the next moment. Jiao! Jiao! He thought it was a giant python. Is just a pair of hideous sharp horns on both sides of the head. The black scales are like sharp armor, giving off a metallic color in the moonlight. This is the rhythm of Hua Jiao. Na Jiao seemed to have also spotted Mu Fifan, and quickly reached out his huge head and erected most of his body. Hiss! Mu Fifan took a breath. This Jiao is so big, its standing body is more than 10 meters. What is the concept of 10 meters? That is the height of 3 floors. The first feeling of admiration for extraordinary is how small he is, and there is a deep fear. He has never seen such a big creature in the league. I saw that Jiao bowed his body, like a full divine bow, ready to shoot out at any time. Run! Mu Fiwa had to turn around and flee. Unexpectedly, this fisherman suddenly opened his mouth in the blood basin, flashing black light inside, unexpectedly ejected a black beam of light. The huge black light brought the roaring fishy wind and cooled it. Mu Fifan hurriedly dodged away. The foothold of the original entrance was hit by a black light, and the ground was immediately corroded and smoked. The surrounding rocks also gradually melted. Toxic gas is soaring. Is still a poisonous dragon. Looking at the damage level, this poisonous flood is a first-level monster, not far from the second-level monster. Is equivalent to a monk who is close to the foundation building period among human beings. Mu Fifan glanced at the corroded ground just now, his face was very ugly. The entrance is now full of venom, how can I escape? He is not so arrogant that he is here to fight the poisonous dragon. But, before it was too late to think about it, the poisonous scorpion sprayed out a second round of black light. The black light came quickly and fiercely, just like running through thunder. Mu Fifan hurriedly raised his shield and guarded it in front. Boom! The impact of the black light shook him back a few steps, and even the lingering poison gas made his mind dizzy. But Mu Fiwa was surprised to find that the shield was not corroded unexpectedly. Seeing that the attack was blocked, the erect pupils of the poisonous dragon were more fierce. Mu Fifan thought that the poisonous dragon was going to rush over to bite herself, feeling a little nervous. Suddenly, he glanced away and found an unexpected joy. I saw two claws on the lower abdomen of the poisonous dragonfly, and blood was constantly pouring out. This poisonous dragon is evolving claws, no wonder it can't move the place. Mu Fiwa was very happy, and instantly felt a lot safer. The poisonous dragon roared angrily, and sprayed out another black light. Mu Fiwa didn't run away anymore, and directly raised his shield to block. However, the poison gas in the air is getting more and more, so he hurriedly took out the detoxification pill and poured it into his mouth. The gradually confused wool becomes clear again. Bang bang bang! Round after round of black light jets, they were all blocked by Mu Fifan. Of course, he swallowed a lot of detoxification pills. The porcelain bottle lying on the floor. I see how you kill me. Mu Fiwa also launched a ruthless heart. Isn't just venom? I have medicine. It's so exhausting for one person and one flood. The poisonous dragon was also helpless, and his throat was full of smoke, and he couldn't hold this warrior. Even a monk in the Qi refining period, even if he was not hit by the front, should have been stunned by the poisonous gas long ago. It glanced at the porcelain vases spread all over the floor under Mu Fiwa's feet, and suddenly understood something. Wow! The poisonous dragon yelled angrily, this voice was full of grief and anger, it was too aggrieved. Tell me, why do you have so many medicines? Serious people, who wears so many antidote? It became more and more angry, and finally after the last burst of black light, its voice became dumb. Mu Fifan, why don't you spray it? Poison Jiao? Broke in. The poison sac is empty. At this moment, Yu reading www.theyuyuganshu.com. Poisonous worm is not only devoid of poisonous gas, but the body is weakened to the extreme due to the exhaustion of energy. Dignified first-level monster, being forced to be like this, it is really aggrieved. As soon as it raised its head, a black shadow of lightning appeared in its eyes. That is an extremely sharp battle axe, tracing a long trajectory in the air, rushing over. Boom! The poisonous dragon screamed, the head was chopped with an axe, and blood was splashed all over the place. According to the usual state, even if the poisonous flood is hit, it doesn't matter. But now his body is hollowed out and he can't move, the poisonous dragon really has nothing to do with it. Its huge body twitched for a while, then fell to the ground, staring at the lantern's eyes. Do not look at you. I am overjoyed for the extraordinary. I didn't expect that his luck was so bad that he would kill this high-level poisonous floodwater. Although there is a feeling that a blind cat meets a dead mouse. He swam past in a dog scraping style. The temperature of the dark river was very cold, but it couldn't kill his hot heart. Soon swam to the middle of the river. Observed from a close distance, this poisonous flood is really huge, like a hill. Mu Fiwa drew out his battle axe, thought for a moment, and carefully cut the poisonous hawk's throat. According to the knowledge trained by the school, he really found a poison sac. This poison sac is the part of the poisonous flood that produces venom, which is very precious. Suddenly, a line of text flashed in his mind. Kill the poisonous worm and get a poison sac of the first level poisonous worm. System rewards, 100 poison sacs of the first level poisonous sacs. 2. The talented stone of the second level poisonous dragon. The talented stone of the second level poisonous dragon. Mu Fei's eyes widened, and ecstasy appeared in his eyes. The rewards of the system are really terrible. In 100-fold increase, it is normal for the first level monster to become the second level. It's just the operation of directly evolving the poisonous flood into a dragon, which is terrifying. It may be that the blood of this poisonous dragon is very strong, and if it grows normally, it will return to the ancestors little by little. Mu Feifan analyzed. He naturally chose the second item. The poison sac was surging with a strange luster, and it quickly turned into a rare black crystal. Is the stone of talent. The poisonous sac of the poisonous sac is highly toxic to humans, but it can be absorbed at will after turning into a talent stone. Such a considerate system, I love it. Mu Fei played with the stone of talent and couldn't put it down. The so-called talent is the ability that is born after birth. The human talent is the spiritual root, so you can embark on the path of spiritual practice. Ling roots contain the traditional 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth, as well as rare small 3 strange ice wind thunders, and even more unknown roots waiting for people to discover. Your spiritual root attribute determines the corresponding exercises you will learn after the Qi refining period. But it is not that the more spiritual root types you possess, the better, because it means that your spiritual root talent will not be high. It is a pity that most people are the roots of the 5 elements. Those true geniuses have no more than 3 spiritual root types. If only one kind of spiritual root is possessed, then he is a peerless genius who wins at the starting line at birth. Mu Fei is a member of the tens of thousands of hard-working people in this life, and is the spiritual root of the 5 elements. In his previous life, he was not complacent because of his second-generation rich status, and in this life he will not be discouraged because of his mediocrity. No matter where I am the one who refuses to admit defeat. I want to prove that I am not weaker than anyone. Mu Feifan clenched his fists. People's talents are fixed and cannot be changed the day after tomorrow. It can be imagined how defying this system is. The poisonous dragon returns to its ancestors to become a dragon. How amazing its talents will be, I am looking forward to it when I think about it. Thinking of this, Mu Feifan began to absorb the talent stone. The process of refining is very fast. After all, it is a system product. The talent stone has no impurities and is very pure. Mu Fei closed her eyes and sat cross-legged. An astonishing air current blasted from him and spread out. The river water near the high ground began to boil and roll, bursting out one after another, like very poisonous things. Behind the extraordinary, accompanied by a high-pitched dragon roar, suddenly condensed into a dark shadow of a poisonous dragon, and the majestic coercion suppressed everything. I don't know how long it took. When Mu Feifan opened his eyes again, all the visions disappeared. Is it all absorbed? Mu Fei didn't feel any progress in his cultivation. Just when you spread your hands, I feel that the rushing innocent gas can be transformed into poisonous gas at any time. I am now a poison repairer. It doesn't sound serious. Forget it, life is the most important thing. Mu Feifan now focused on the corpse again, and he was cautious not to let go of any oily water. Then, Mu Feifan started to touch the corpse again. Get a set of first-level poisonous dragon skin. System rewards, 100 sets of first-level poisonous dragonfly skins. 2. A set of demon scale armor. I want armor. Mu Fei just finished speaking. The hill-like corpse slowly collapsed at a speed visible to the naked eye, and finally turned into a suit of armor, lying quietly on the ground. The armor is dark in color, and the scaly armor is shiny, very heavy. Mu Feifan walked over and put it on directly, the size was just right. At this moment, Mu Fei suddenly changed, from a Mai Yi brother to a majestic general. Very heroic, When you put it on, you should be able to resist a monster attack. Mu Fiwa said. He took out a bottle of Zhuangqi pills from the storage bag. There are still 6 days left to teleport back, so let's practice well first, and hurry up to improve your strength. Mu Fiwa began to enter the retreat. However, what he didn't know was that a few minutes ago, outside the remote cave, many torches suddenly appeared, illuminating this area. Is Wanbo, Daniel and others. They looked anxious, they searched the neighborhood for a long time, but they didn't find Mu Fiwa. Blame me, let him come to this mountain, what if he feeds the monsters? Wanbo was anxious. Suddenly a dragon chant that resounded throughout the world came from the cave. Daniel was frightened with cold hands and feet. Sure enough, there is a big demon living in this cave. It seems that this little brother is almost dead. Wanbo's heart is cold. Go back, Uncle Wan, and the monsters will come out for a while, we all have to die here. Under the persuasion of everyone, Uncle Wan sighed, seeing his wilting look, he seemed to be several years old all of a sudden. At this moment, Mu Fiwa didn't know that the movement caused by absorbing the talent stone would make others misunderstand him as a monster. Time passed day by day. Soon came the 7th day. Mu Fifan is still meditating. In the past few days, apart from sleeping, I have been taking Zhuangqi pills. Fortunately, Zhuangqi pills can replace food. Suddenly, a voice rang in his mind. The 7-day return time has come, get reward time. System rewards, stay in this world for 700 days. 2. Give up the reward and return immediately. Mu Fifan's eyes widened, and she suddenly felt trembling all over. What is this? Can you continue to stay in this other world? 700 days? Lying, trough? A color of ecstasy appeared on his face. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Mu Fiwa couldn't wait to look up to the sky and scream, slap her chest hard. For spiritual practice, besides resources, what else is the most precious? Of course it's time. This is the reason why the time extension card is still very popular despite its high price. It allows a person to spend several times more training time out of thin air. Only time is enough, even if the resources are not available, a great power can be cultivated. As far as Mu Fiwa knows, time extension cards on the market are double, 5 times, and the highest is a 10-fold increase. Is 70 days. And now, he can directly choose 700 days. I can take drugs indefinitely, and have 100 times the time. Isn't it easy to enter a top 100 university? Mu Fifan chose to stay without hesitation. Thinking of the nearly 1,000 Zhuangqi pills in the storage bag, Mu Fiwa nodded slightly. At the current rate of refining 1 piece a day, it is enough. At this time, the admiration is extraordinary, and he is immersed in cultivation. Counting the days, many straight characters were drawn on the ground. Afterwards, Mu Fifai didn't even bother to remember. What about him? Isn't there an old saying that there is no time for cultivation? Time flies. On this day, a rickety old man came near the cave. He stood in front of a high swelling mound. Unconsciously, 2 years have passed. I have never done anything wrong in my life, but I am sorry for you. The old man pulled out the weeds around the mound, revealing a tombstone. There are 4 big characters engraved on the steel, the dressing guy. This old man is Wanbo back then. In the past 2 years, he has been condemned by his conscience and has grown old. At this moment, he took out a jug of wine and slowly poured it on the tombstone. The most regrettable thing is that I don't even know what your name is. Suddenly, a few brawny men ran in the distance, and the leader was Daniel. Uncle Wan, long time no see. Daniel recognized the old man at a glance, and was very surprised. Wanbo has been wandering outside after leaving Saiksha village, and has not returned for a long time. Seeing the old man, Wanbo smiled and said, Daniel, why are you here? Daniel said, I don't know why in the past 2 years. There have been more beasts on the mountain. We hunted all the way. At this moment, he glanced around and found that the cave was right in front of him, and he took a breath of air conditioning. Although it is rumored that the big demon may have left here, thinking of the high-pitched roar that night, Daniel still has lingering fears. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon chant that shocked Bailey came out from the cave. There are monsters. No, it's still here. Let's run. Several big guys were trembling with fright, and Daniel and Wanbo were also pale. Ha ha ha, retreat for 700 days, I will become a Kyrphaning monk today. There was another whistling sound, floating from the depths of the cave. Daniel was dumbfounded. This monster has become a spirit? Can talk humans? Wanbo showed a strange expression, so familiar voice. Suddenly, a tall and incomparable figure appeared at the entrance of the cave, carrying a billowing poisonous gas, like the birth of a great devil. Cough cough cough. The people outside started coughing desperately, gradually becoming blurred. Someone unexpectedly. The person murmured, and hurriedly collected the poison gas. He walked out of the cave, his appearance slowly revealed in the sun. Is wearing a thick black armor, holding an axe in one hand and a shield in the other, and her black hair falls on her waist like a waterfall. Is Mufiwa, who has disappeared for nearly 2 years. It turned out not to be a monster. Everyone understood. Wanbo's eyes lit up, and he suddenly said, "Are you the guy who changed the dressing?" Mufifan looked at the other person, his memories from the past slowly became clear, and said, "Are you the old man selling drugs?" Daniel and the others were dumbfounded. What are these two people crying to? Ha ha ha. Wanbo was very excited. So you are not dead. Mufiwa is speechless. He is living well. Why this old man is looking forward to his death? Suddenly, his gaze crossed Wanbo, just to see the tombstone behind him. There are 4 eye-catching characters engraved on the dressing boy. Fuck! Mufifan could not hold back, and shouted out. Wanbo scratched his head in embarrassment. After a while, Mufiwa figured out what was going on. It turned out that this group of people thought they had fed the monsters. Although it was an oolong, Mufifan still had a good impression of them. Haha, people in this different world are real. By the way, little brother, where is that monster? Daniel asked curiously. Mufiwa said lightly, I killed it. Hiss. Daniel had guessed this possibility from the beginning, but when he said it personally from Mufiwa's mouth, he still felt extremely shocked. You just became a monk during the Qi refining period. Right. Doesn't that mean that when you kill the monster beast, you are only a warrior? Daniel seems to have been hit by an unprecedented shock, and a terrible storm is set off in his heart. He once heard that this monster beast is extraordinary. It is the most powerful kind in the first level, comparable to the monks in the foundation stage. Unexpectedly, when Mufifan was still a warrior, he would be killed. Mufiwa smiled faintly, and did not deny it. It's just that this kind of calmness fell in the eyes of everyone, and it has become an unpredictable performance. Little brother is too strong. The future is limitless. It's an amazing talent. They subconsciously show their admiration for extraordinary, and they are even more polite. At this time, Wanbo said, since the young man is okay, I'll take down this tomb. Mufifan smiled and said, no, I have to leave here anyway. Are you leaving so soon? The little brother is not a local at first sight. There are outstanding people in the treasure land, Lingshan, unlike our poor mountain Guzi. We have lived for most of our lives, and we are still martial artists. Everyone said. Somehow, Wanbo suddenly felt that what Mufifei said to leave was not like going to a distant place, but really leaving. This time, I will never see each other again. Mufiwa looked deeply at the cave where he had lived for almost 2 years, and waved goodbye to everyone. Looking up to the sky and laughing out of the house, how are we from Penggao? He laughed loudly, putting aside the last bit of nostalgia for this place, showing his freedom. Soon disappeared from everyone's sight. Wanbo and others have been watching. Let's go, Daniel, he and we are not in the same world. Wanbo heard the meaning of the other party's last sentence. Well, a genius, will not be buried in the abyss. Daniel smiled bitterly, his heart was full of envy. That's the chi refining period, how many beasts he has to hunt and how many pills in exchange for him to enter this ranks. But when the envy is over, life will continue. Daniel shouted, brothers, since the demon is dead long ago, today we will kill a few more beasts. Good. Actually, Mu Fifan didn't go far, just dodge and hide behind a big rock. Because he felt the sense of void rejection in all directions. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Time is up. The next moment, this body of Mu Fiwa turned into a little bit of starlight and completely disappeared. At the moment he finally returned, he abandoned this body. Because of this world with poor resources, there is no need to come again. Waiting for Mu Fiwa to open his eyes again, and found that he had returned to the private room of the temple. I am back again. Mu Fiwa murmured, he clenched his fists, felt the power surging all over his body, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Has really become a monk in the chi refining period. The temple does not deceive me. He glanced at the storage bag around his waist again. Found that the battle axe, shield and armor had also been brought back. In addition to this, there were also small activating medicine and small antidote. Only Zwangi pills are absorbed at the rate of 1 capsule a day, and now there are 30 bottles left. Thinking of this, Mu Fifei couldn't help but sigh with emotion. My 5-element talents are really mediocre. It took 700 pills for strengthening Qi to open up all the channels and complete the true Qi. And the poisonous dragon talent seems to be of little help to cultivation, right? At this time, a mechanical sound rang. Hey! Congratulations to this classmate, for the first time he entered another world, he became a monk during the Qi refining period. Is the customer service stupid? Mu Fifan was taken aback, only to remember that there is such a person. Although he has been in another world for nearly 2 years, in fact, he only left for half an hour. Kunkin's words gave Mu Fei a lot of confidence. Thinking about it this way, the first time you enter the Temple of 10,000 Realms, you will complete the transition from the martial artist to the refining period, which is also rare in the world. Mu Fiwa said modestly, don't be 6 for basic exercises, don't be 6 for basic exercises. Kunkin, let me out. Mu Fiwa said again. The next moment, Mu Fiwa was immediately passed away. There is no sign. It seems that Kun is also reluctant to see him. At this time, Mu Fifan was already standing next to the teleportation array. A burst of fragrant scent hits his face, making Mu Fei unable to help but raise his head. Xia Yuchen was sitting on a single sofa not far away, her eyes were as intoxicating as the sea of stars. I have to say, this is really a pretty girl. Although he is only 18 years old, he is already in bloom and curvy. When you see her, you can think of many beautiful words describing women. But once it is used on her, it feels very tacky and completely inappropriate. Xia Yusakata is so unique. Mu Fifan searched through the only vocabulary in his mind, and found that he could only give the other party an adjective, super beauty. Came back. At this time, Xia Yuchen found him and said lightly. Mu Fiwa suddenly felt a strange feeling. It's as if the two were childhood partners, and they meet again after many years. Xia Yuchen stood up, walked in front of Mu Fiwa, and stared at him. It feels like a dream. Well, after waking up for a long time, it is still very. Mu Fifan took the sentence subconsciously, but stopped instantly. Feeling words should not be scenery. Xia Yuchen said solemnly, the first time you teleport a different world, it is easy to confuse it with reality. Remember, the other world is just a game for us. Don't lose yourself. Admired the extraordinary. No, I just remembered a word suddenly. What? Lang rides a bamboo horse to get green plums around the bed. Xia Yu-chan was silent, and the atmosphere suddenly became subtle. After a while, she lowered her head, a light blush appeared on her face, and slowly said, I will be shy if you say this. Mu Fifan's eyes widened. The cold-hearted Xia Yuchen also has this side? But, it's pretty cute. At this time, Xia Yuchen suddenly said, are you in the qi refining period? Mu Fiwa nodded. He thought that Xia Yusakata would sigh in surprise like Kun Kun. But it is a pity that Mu Fifei did not find any expression on her face. Let's go home. Xia Yuchen suddenly walked forward. Mu's extraordinary voice sounded from behind. Hey, why aren't you surprised? This is unscientific. What level are you? I see, you must have been to the temple many times, depending on how you are familiar with the road. You privileged dog. Xia Yusakata stopped abruptly, turned around, and asked calmly, then what dog are you? Mu Fiwa almost bumped into her, was taken aback, and said, I'm a single dog. Bash! Xia Yu-chan suddenly laughed, and at this moment it was as if the earth was warming up, and the ice and snow melted. Mu Fondian suddenly felt that spring was here, and that season was here again. At this time, Xia Yuchen asked, do you know what the destined person means? Without waiting for Mu Fifan's answer, she continued, the so-called people who are destined are those who are destined to be together. So? Xia Yu's eyes flickered like stars. Stop calling yourself a single dog. Then turned and left. Mu Fiwa was stunned. What does she say? My God! Am I being kicked up frontally? At this moment of admiration, I feel my heart beating faster and the temperature on my face rises sharply. Careless, no flashes. Looking at Xia Yuchen, who was walking slowly in front of him, Mu Fiwa suddenly felt a strange feeling. His heart is beating non-stop. Mu Fifan suddenly realized that besides entering university, he now has one more goal. Hey, let's go back to school. Xia Yuchen's voice came from a distance. Mu Fiwa nodded, and his pace quickened a bit. Riverside City, Shonan High School. This is the school for two people. Their relationship is still unknown until now. Xia Yusakata is a famous goddess on campus. Regardless of family background, she is the top of the league. Mu Fiwa is not only a better appearance, but more often than not, it is just a little transparent. These two people seem to be in a relationship that can't be beaten. My classmates, I never even dreamed that they would come in the same car. In order to be afraid of causing a sensation, Mu Fiwa got out of the car early and walked for an extra minute before arriving at the school gate. Along the way, he heard a lot of discussions. Is it Xia Yuchen who passed by just now? I only met her at the freshman party in the first year of high school. I didn't expect that 2 years later, the goddess grew more and more beautiful. Don't worry about it, is a goddess that mortals like you can imagine. Most of the boys in the third year of high school are 18 years old, which is the age when love begins. Has absolutely no resistance to Xia Yuchen, which is famous throughout the school. A group of guys who haven't seen the world, you have nothing in this life, no, in the next life, there will be no in the next life. Mu Fifei's heart uttered divine contempt. Suddenly, a boy walked out next to him and sneered, you people, are you still thinking about Xia Yuchen? A girl, coldly like a robot, what is there to like? Don't you find out that she has always been alone, without even a friend? Her personality is flawed. After he finished speaking, the boys near Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com were speechless. That said, I really haven't seen any friends she has. Too aloof. It may be an odd character. When the boy heard it, his face was a little smug. Mu Fifan looked over, but he knew this person, who turned out to be his squad leader, Lynch. "Hey, talking about a girl behind my back, okay?" A cold question came. Lynch frowned, he turned his head and saw Mu Fei staring at him. There is still chill in his eyes. "Is it you?" Lynch gave a startled voice. He didn't expect that Mu Fei would not show up in the class, but he would stand up at this time. Mu Fei is tall and handsome. At the moment, she has a pair of cold eyes and looks very shocking. The few boys nearby saw that the atmosphere was not right, and hurriedly dispersed. "Retract what you just said. Why do you judge a girl's character?" Mu Feifan said in a deep voice. Lynch immediately figured out something, and suddenly realized, "So you like Xiaoyu Cicada, but I didn't expect that you are usually Loki, but you are also a licking dog." Mu Fei suddenly deceived him. He was already tall and unmatched. Standing on Lynch brought a full sense of oppression. "Do you want to fight?" Lynch was startled. "Schools do not allow fights." "Be careful, I sue the teacher." Mu Feifan lowered his head, looked down at Lynch, and sneered, "I like Xia Yuchen or not, what is your business?" He stretched out his big hand and patted Lynch on the shoulder hard, as if to say hello to an old friend who had been gone for a long time. Boom! Lynch felt his shoulders sink and almost fell to the ground. After Lynch reacted, Mu Fei was already far away. A huge sense of humiliation spread across Lynch's body instantly. He whispered, "Mu Feifan, don't you like Xia Yuchen? But she has been in the experimental class for 3 years, and you are a trash, you only deserve to stay in the ordinary class forever, you don't even have the qualifications to talk to her. It's really sad." Mu Feifan turned his head, as if watching a clown, spit out 2 words, "Stupid." "Force. I've been in the same bed. The doors are all welded to death. Tell me you can't afford a bicycle? Ignorance." After he finished speaking, he put his hands in his pockets and walked away. Only Lynch was left with a spiteful expression in the wind. In Class 2 of the 3rd year, Mu Feiran took a casual look and found his seat. The second to last row is next to the window. "Mu Fei, this is how I really feel my protagonist's halo. It can be said that once you sit in this seat, the wheel of fortune begins to spin. Brother Fan, is Solo a cultivator glorious?" Just as Mu Feifan sat down, he was patted on the shoulder by the person behind him. Looking at this person, Mu Fei smiled, it was his best friend Xiao Yu. No matter it is in the past and present, Xiao Yu is still as usual, so fat. What is the glory of the repairer? Mu Fei realized that this is a mobile game that has swept the league. "No, I'm afraid of torturing and crying you." Mu Fei smiled. "You know, Mu Fei from the previous life is the great of MOBA games. Even because of the game, the college entrance examination was affected. Unfortunately, I did not become a professional player. But he has an esports club under his name." Xiao Yu curled her lips and didn't believe it at all. "Because I admired the extraordinary level before, I was at odds with myself." At this time, Lynch also walked into the classroom, glanced at the back row of the classroom with a cold look, and then sat back in his seat. Hiss! "Brother Fan, how do I feel that the monitor's eyes are not right when looking at me, am I handsome again?" Xiao Yu shuddered. "Get out!" Mu Feifan laughed and cursed. "Where is he looking at you? He is clearly looking at me." Jingle bell! The bell for class finally rang. All high schools in the league start at 9 o'clock, and will give students free time to go out to the temple. The content of the class is also different from the previous life. There are no subjects such as language and mathematics. Under the guidance of the head teacher, we exchanged experiences in living in another world. Xiaoxian really penetrates every corner of life. At this time, a young girl in a black tutu walked into the classroom. She was petite and had a pair of slender legs wrapped in black silk. Under heavy makeup, the eyeliner is drawn very long, and the gothic dress is full. "Wow, where's the little sister, so cute. Many boys looked straight. Xiao Yu also whispered, hey, here comes a little lowly. Mu Fifan didn't speak, but felt that this girl seemed to be difficult. There was no emotion on the girl's face, and she said faintly, my name is Gong Xingyu, and I will be your head teacher in the future. My God! Everyone's expression changed drastically. Gong Xingyu looked younger than them, and turned out to be a teacher. Only Mu Fandian's pupils shrink slightly. Golden Core period. No wonder Gong Xingyu feels so powerful. Because of the nation's cultivation of immortality, everyone is extraordinary, but even so, there are classes and differences. After entering the society, everyone has become a glorious worker, basically all in the foundation building period. Otherwise, you don't even have the right to get married. Similarly, because members of the public re-enter the temple, they need a high admission fee. Therefore, many people stay in the foundation building period for their entire lives, and they have not made progress in their cultivation. Only in the golden elimination period, can you continue to use the temple for free. And high school teachers, as the elite industry of the Alliance, must be the start of the golden era. Therefore, if you want to get ahead in the league, Jindan is the starting point. At this time, Gong Xingyu said, first of all, congratulations to everyone for becoming a senior high school student. You should have all been to the Temple of 10,000 Realms this morning. Next, everyone will take turns to talk about their experiences in another world. The one who reads the name comes first. Lu Zhu. A boy who was skinny like a monkey stood up and said, I just teleported over, and a demon wolf was lying next to him, and he killed me directly. Ah ha ha ha. Before he finished speaking, the whole class was amused. This Lu Zhu is too unlucky. Zhao Tianba. I found a spiritual grass on the mountain. As soon as I got it, I was killed by two warriors who sprang out nearby. There was another burst of laughter in the class. Next, one student after another stood up and talked about their experiences. Mu Fiwa was stunned. What kind of journey to cultivate immortals? It was a tricky death. Is it a miserable meeting? In fact, most people spread to another world, and the start was very tragic. This is the truth. Mu Fifan is lucky in comparison. Lynch stood up at this time and said, I joined a martial arts academy in another world and learned boxing for a week. Oh my God, the monitor is so lucky. Yes, I have walked the mountain road for 7 days, but I haven't met a living person. The same, I am also a standalone. Everyone is very envious. Lynch is quite proud. At this time, Gong Xingyu spoke. Learning martial arts in another world. It's stupid. The smile on Lynch's face immediately froze as soon as he said this. Was surrounded by everyone's envy a second ago, and Gong Xingyu's reprimanded the next second. Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com. He was very unconvinced. Teacher, what's wrong with learning martial arts in another world? Gong Xingyu snorted coldly. There are still 10 months left before the college entrance examination. And as warriors, you can only go to the temple once a week. Converted, the time spent in another world is up to 300 days. If you die halfway, there will be less time. In a mere 300 days, you don't use it to find opportunities and lay the foundation, but to practice some boxing. If you can't reach the chi refining period, you won't even have the qualifications to take the college entrance examination. Do you say you are stupid? Lynch immediately blushed and felt a little embarrassed. He can feel the gazes of the people around him, all with schadenfreude. Moreover, Gong Xingyu made another knife. The different worlds passed down by the martial artist are all safe areas, and the martial arts are backward. Our school library can take out a practice method and it can be crushed. You should learn from them. Fist. Ha ha ha. When everyone heard it, they laughed mercilessly. Sigma_Lynch received a second crit and was about to vomit blood. Even Mu Fifan couldn't help but laugh. This Gong teacher is really a venomous tongue, but the sentence is reasonable, and the point is the point. Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu stood up and grinned, where I go, the town's big family recruits son-in-law, I'll go see the excitement. Unexpectedly, I was attracted by that girl. Every day, the miraculous medicine was offered to me, and I was ready to get married when the qi refining period was reached. What? Dortodo or son-in-law? Crooked Mouth Dragon King? Is this okay? The whole class was shocked. Mu Fiwa is even more struck by lightning, like a sculpture. Is too thunderous. Everyone's gazes shot towards Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu shook the fat on her body, and suddenly there was a wave of flesh rippling. Suddenly, everyone was speechless. My God! What are the differences between us and this guy? Gong Xingye was also at a loss. Was really shocked. This Xiao Yu is simply possessed by a ghost. She cleared her throat and said, Student Xiao Yu, your experience is really strange, strange. She originally wanted to say something strange, but considering her identity as a teacher of the people, she changed the word forcibly. The other world you are teleporting now is just Novice Village, a small inn on your spiritual path. So don't have feelings for any of them. To distinguish the reality. Gong Xingye finished, everyone was lost in thought. Obviously these words gave them a great reminder. Mu Fifan also nodded secretly. He stayed in another world for 2 years, and when he left, he didn't hesitate. Just treat the different world as a game. Unexpectedly, Xiao Yu suddenly smiled and said, Teacher, don't worry, when I reach the Qi-refining period, I will escape marriage. When the others heard it, they were full of black lines. Oh my God, I'm still a scumbag. Why is there no girl who looks at me? He who looks at Xiao Yu, he doesn't want it yet. Stop talking, my mother is single, and I'm sorely sour. Don't know, Gong Xingyu's next sentence is even more ridiculous, your approach is correct. Con. If you have a teacher, you have a student. Xiao Yu sat down with a bang, and the ground trembled. Mu Fifan ridiculed, your son Yanfu is not shallow. Xiao Yu smiled bitterly, Brother Fan, don't bury me anymore. That girl is more than me, so can you hire a son-in-law? It's hard for you. Mu Fifei was very sympathetic. Mu extraordinary. Finally it was his turn. Mu Fifan stood up and said, I met a kind old man, and he gave me an auxiliary medicine. He had already thought about the excuses. No one showed any expressions. Only Lynch, who was not pleasing to his eyes, made a secret cut. Mu's extraordinary experience can only be said to be quite satisfactory. There are no bright spots, but there are gains. Just the next moment, Gong Xingyu suddenly squinted his eyes, and asked each word, what auxiliary medicine can make you break through the qi refining period so quickly? As soon as he said this, the audience was silent. After the air solidified for a few seconds, the classroom suddenly erupted with a shocking sound. What? Did I hear it wrong? Mu Fifan has reached the qi refining period. This world is crazy. Xiao Yu even had a pair of bull's eyes staring perfectly round, and she was almost blurting out the 4 characters of Brother Fan Niubi. Facing Gong Xingyu's compelling question, Mu Fifan smiled faintly. He never thought that he would hide his cultivation base from the boss of Jindan, but that experience was really horrifying to hear. I can't say that I killed a monster of the highest level. Was still in the time of warrior. That old man gave me a strong pill. Mu Fiwa said. What? Vigorously? The expressions of the students immediately became weird. Gong Xingyu's face flushed slightly, and he cursed softly, nothing serious. Hey? Does the teacher know what medicine this is? Mu Fiwa was surprised. Gong Xingyu solemnly said at this time, Student Mu Fifan, Loki is a good thing, but it should be divided into occasions. Do you know that high school seniors have privileges when they are in the qi refining period? What privilege! Mu Fiwa's eyes lit up. You can enter the Temple of 10,000 Realms once a day. As soon as this remark came out, the audience was shocked again. What does this mean? Means to admire the extraordinary, from then on, 7 times more time to practice than these warriors. On the road to immortality, time equals money. Therefore, time extension cards are only sold so expensive. Everyone immediately showed envious eyes. Now, Mu Fiwa is the focus of the class. In other words, he is the prettiest boy on this street. Mu Fifan, as soon as he entered the first day of high school, it became the chi refining period, and the future is really boundless. Mu Fifan is so handsome and wants to be his girlfriend. It's you? Let's take a look in the mirror. Where does our family deserve to be extraordinary? What about your family? Don't talk nonsense. It belongs to my house. Many girls blushed and looked at Mu Fifan with heartbeats, and even boldly glared at him. Lynch lowered his head, eyes full of jealousy. He suddenly remembered the encounter with each other on campus. The scene at that time is still vivid. When he thinks that his loud scolding is rubbish, Lynch feels that this face hurts. Damn it, I must reach the chi refining stage as soon as possible. Lynch clenched his fist, letting his nails penetrate into the flesh. Gong Xingyu said, don't envy you, as long as you work hard, you will have this day sooner or later. Next, the whole class will study independently. Mu Fifan, come out. After finished, she walked out of the classroom on her own. Mu Fiwa was very puzzled, but he also chased it out. Just as soon as the front foot went out, he heard the classroom frying. Brother Fan is awesome. Great class. Con. Mu Fiwa almost fell, so you don't need to guess the roar of the second grade, it must be the kid Xiao Yu. Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com. He followed Gong Xingyu to the office. At this moment, there is still a pair of teachers and students in the office. The teacher was wearing a business suit with a long ponytail, and Yu Ji Fan was full, and it was Li Zihuzu, the head teacher of the first experiment class. The other student recognized it almost from the moment Mu Fifan stepped into the office. Her long dark chestnut hair is randomly scattered on her shoulders, her tall figure is full of exquisite curves, and a pair of deep star eyes makes it easy to fall into it at a glance. Compared with her lovely appearance, her cool temperament is more outstanding. Seems to be indifferent to everything, extremely cold. Xiaoyu Sakata. Don't look, your eyes are almost on classmate Xiao's body. Gong Xingyu sighed slightly, crossed his legs wrapped in black silk on the seat, and gently sipped his tea. Oh, oh. Only then did Mu Fifan react. Suddenly, Xia Yuchen, who noticed the eyes of others, turned his eyes away. Look at each other with Mu Fiwa. Hiss. Mu Fiwa's pupils shrank. Peeked and was found again? Xia Yuchan's eyes flickered slightly, and the corners of her mouth raised slightly, evoking a moving arc. Even if it is the frozen heart, it will be penetrated by this smile instantly. Mu Huan's heartbeat accelerated again, and he also smiled. The strangeness between the two quickly attracted the attention of the head teachers of both sides. Li Zihuzu asked strangely, Student Xia, you laughed just now? I didn't read it wrong, right? Xia Yuchan changed his face instantly and said, Mr. Li, you are wrong. Li Zihuzu subconsciously looked at Mu Fifan. This new boy caught her attention.